Oi, oi. Apparently, we're live. Okay. Hello. Hello to you wherever you may be in the world. My friend, I hope you are well. And start introducing yourself. We'll just maybe take a couple of questions or so. We'll start in about 5 minutes. Just give all the latecomers a chance to come on. First things first, hope you're all well. First of all, yeah, there we go. Thanks, Peter. One of my hardcore ones, Peter McCullough, saying, sound and vision are okay. Yeah. Okay, great. That was my question. Can you hear me? Everyone there, hey. You you hated Vaughan, is that what you're saying? You're reading my mind. Okay, so I can assume you can all hear me. Can you just, Peter, you can hear me. I just want to see if everyone else can hear me. Just say, read you loud and clear. How's the sound? Yep, how's the sound there, guys? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, you can hear. Okay, great. You can all hear? Okay. There's a bit of a delay, so everything's going yes. Okay, here's the next question. Can you hear this? Can you hear the piano? So the question is, you can hear the voice, and can you hear the piano? You can hear the piano. Okay, we've got some piano. I've never put. Oh, thank you, loud and clear. Okay. You know what? Whenever you take on music production, you'll find that OCD is a byproduct of that. So you can become quite obsessed about doing things properly and getting them right. And anyway, let's not go off topic. This is live. No off topic. There's no editing here. Wow, a lot of you on board. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Right, so today is 9th of February, and the messages are coming up very quickly, so keep them coming, guys. I will obviously try and read as many of them as what I can. So yeah, today, February the 9th, and we got Ghosts Again. This follows and this is an anticipated album, and I know, I'm going to just say a few things. I know I'm building the anticipation because you probably want to know what I think, but who cares what I think? I'm just a guy. But I've put a lot of love and attention and into Depeche Mode and in my channel and everything. So I'd like to think that I've built enough credibility in what I'm saying for you to value my opinion. Now that doesn't mean I'm right. At the end of the day, it's still just my opinion. So this is a long-awaited album. I mean, obviously Depeche Mode usually release an album every 4 years, but now, of course, we had COVID. Are you allowed to say that on YouTube? Are you allowed to say that? Okay, I'm still here. So there was a lot of anticipation for this, and this obviously means the last album came out in 2006. Was it 16 or 17? I think it was 17. So yeah, so this one is long overdue. So, and as you guys know, I've been very critical about the last album, Spirit, and I always like to give an objective opinion. I always like to, I will never say something's crap. And for the record, I've never ever said Spirit is crap. It's not a crap album. I just said Spirit to me was disappointing. And, I listened and I tried to really find something redeeming. I liked Scum and a few other tracks, but for the whole of it, I was really, really disappointed. So when I heard Depeche Mode were, coming out with a new body of work, I was nervous, naturally, because, hey man, this is the soundtrack to my life, and, I just have to be honest when I give an opinion. I'm not going to mention any YouTubers out there, but you get these YouTubers, they just so want to be liked, so they always say the right thing. They just like everything. And I suppose there's one way of doing that is you can just talk about things you don't like. I think if you're going to for me, it's about being authentic. So, I love this band, but I have to take the smooth with the rough and mention when I don't like things. Anyway, so there was a bit of drama this week. The what was it, early this week, they had some kind of counter. If you watched my video yesterday, some people got really upset because the counter went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it said, oh, the song's coming out in 3 or 4 days or a week's time or whatever it was, and that pissed a lot of people off. But the wait was over, and 4 o'clock UK time, local time here, we got to hear it. Now, full disclosure, and I'm probably not the only one, I heard it last night because it got leaked. Now, I don't know who these bastards are that leak things. It's obviously people who work in the studios or whatever. But I kept that information under my chest. The funny thing was, I probably got, I kid you not, probably about 100 messages, between email, instant messages, LinkedIn, all over the place. People were just sending me private messages with the link. So I listened, and I nodded, and I listened. And as you guys know, I did that video a few months ago when we, just after the press conference. I spoke about Ghosts Again, and I told you, I said that I liked it. It was something instantly. There was something instantly appealing. It was more Pet Shop Boys and more New Order than Depeche Mode. It was the first time we heard a Depeche Mode song, and we said, "Oh, it sounds like something else." Because usually, when you hear a Depeche Mode song, back in the heyday, you could never compare it to something because it was always so unique and so unusual. I mean, take things like Barrel of a Gun and Personal Jesus, and whenever they dropped a single, it was always groundbreaking and a little bit off the wall. So they dropped this one, and I listened to it, and this is, as I said on that first video, it was one of the first times I actually listened, and I went, oh, I really like this instantly. Now, I might be, like many of you, Depeche Mode fanboy number one, but many of their songs, even songs like Walking in My Shoes and, the great songs like that, upon first listen, it's not that I didn't dislike them, it's just those songs are so powerful and so overwhelming that when you hear them the first time, you're just like, what the fuck? They're just so I guess what I'm saying is most of Depeche Mode songs to me, with the exception of Enjoy the Silence and a few ones I can mention, but most of their songs took a while for me to like because their music kind of grows on you, and that is why when I heard Spirit the first time and I thought, okay, I'm really not feeling this, but 5 years later, I'm still not feeling it. So anyway, let's come to Ghosts Again. So when I heard Ghosts Again, when I heard the preview of it, I thought, I like this. Then, of course, there were some of the naysayers, and I've got some people in my community who are kind of like, no, Vaughan, you can't sell out, it's not good. And there have been people up until now, even up until the time that I heard this leaked version yesterday, some people really trying to coerce me into saying things or putting ideas into my head, trying to sort of make me say things. But as you guys know, I'm brutally honest, and I will just tell you what I think. So, what do I think? Well, first things first, it was the first time in a long time that I got this emotion from a Depeche Mode song. It just has something really, and I think the words are just bittersweet. It's really, there's a lot going on here actually, and to the sort of haters and the naysayers, I want to say, upon first listen, you might hear it's quite minimalist, okay? And then the producers and the people who really... Remember, there are Depeche Mode fans, and then there are people who've become producers because of Depeche Mode, people like me. And we tend to not only look at the songs, but we analyze the production and we analyze things. In some way, we tend to overanalyze things. So what I like to do is I always like to listen to music as a whole. And that is the way music is meant to be. It's meant to be listened to as a whole. You're not supposed to pick things apart, but we do as producers. So when I heard this at first, I thought, okay, it's very minimalist. It's very driving. The bass line is just... It's just dum 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 dum. Very simple. I don't know if that's a Moog or whatever. The drum track is clearly, correct me if I'm wrong, geeks, it's clearly a TR-606. And it does have some of the same sonic qualities to some of the previous albums, especially the drum track, the sort of the reverb on the snare and some of the hi-hats. I'm getting a bit geeky now, but go with me. If we take the song Heaven, sometimes what was it? Heaven, yeah. It was Heaven. the start of Heaven. That sort of simplistic opening. Sonically, it kind of sounds like that. But sort of seeing it all for the first time, I've heard it before, but seeing it first, the music video, the emotion just kind of hits you. And now I am looking at this through nostalgic eyes. Remember, Depeche Mode is very important to me, as I'm sure it's important to you. And, I was reading some of the comments on Depeche Mode's YouTube channel, and there were people saying stuff like, I'm in tears, and, it did bring people to tears. And whereas it didn't bring me to tears, it's the first time in years, in absolute years, that a Depeche Mode song's really made me go, I got that tingle. It just made my neck hair stand up, and I was like, and I'm happy. I'm actually getting, what do you call it? Goose flesh, whatever. I'm getting that tingle here because there was just something beautifully sincere about it. And when I was criticizing Spirit and everything, I always said the reason, I had many reasons why I criticized Spirit and everything, but I always said that this was the band that not only, kind of was the soundtrack to my teenage years and everything, and I'm sure yours as well, but it inspired me to go into production and stuff. So that is why when I heard Spirit, I was like, everything that I subscribe to, I'm not hearing in this album. However, in this one, it is simplistic. It is direct. It's not complex. It's not, forgive the fanboyism here, it's not an Alan Wilder, we're past that. And what I said in the previous video, if you saw the video where I was doing the initial reaction to, my initial reaction to Ghost Again, I said, look, these guys have done so much, they've done their time. I'm still not going to let them off the hook. But all I want from you, Dave and Mart, I just want something that is beautifully sincere. And what I've heard so far in Ghosts Again is something that is beautifully sincere. No, it's not groundbreaking in terms of production and stuff like that. And if we just take a step back here and we look back at what music is meant to do, it's meant to move you. It's meant to, and it moved me. This really moved me, along with the music video. And as I said, I was watching it through nostalgic eyes because of this band. And, Depeche Mode are not a very in-your-face kind of band. What I mean by that is they're not like most artists that have Twitter accounts and, not like us bloody YouTubers that are, us YouTubers, we have to speak to you every day, otherwise otherwise we get forgotten, and which is, is a bit annoying for me because I'm quite a private person. But anyway, Dave and Martin, Depeche Mode, you usually only heard from them when they were touring. They would release an album, and then they would tour, and then they'd do interviews, and then they disappear for 4 years, and you're like, what's happening? So when I saw this music video now, and I saw Dave and Martin, with their black cloaks and their canes walking down that street, and then eventually they walk to that rooftop. Is it New York? I think it's New York, and they're playing chess. I have to give Anton kudos as well here. I think everything here, without I haven't had time to analyze it, and I don't like to sort of analyze things. I like to give things time, but the reason I'm doing this right now is because I want you to just know what my fresh instant feelings were. It was emotional, just sort of looking at Dave and Martin and saying, and I just want to say for the record, they look great, but they have aged. As we all do, we get older, and you can sort of see you can see they've gotten older, and within that, there's something sad about that because, I was. I was looking at some pictures of Depeche Mode today. Funny enough, because I'm doing another Depeche Mode video for my YouTube channel. Surprise, surprise! And I was just looking at photos of them from sort of like 1983, and I'm thinking of or 85, that sort of Shake the Disease period, and I just thought, man, you were all very, very bloody good-looking guys. Really, really good-looking and very handsome, and I'm not saying they're not handsome anymore, but they've aged, as we all do. We get older, and so just sort of seeing them the way they look now. Now, I'm not trying to be depressing. I'm not trying to say, oh my God, they've gotten old, but they have aged, and you can see it. And I think that Anton is trying to show that in the music, and the song really is. It's one of the few music videos. No, not one of the few, but it is one of the music videos that really sometimes their music videos, because it's an artistic decision, sometimes the music video can be quite contradictory to what the lyrics are saying. I know what you mean, if you know what I mean. But this particular music video, it did hit me. I mean, I didn't start crying or anything like that. And I went, there's my heroes. I can see them aging. I can see the cracks coming. The message is clear. We all die. And this song really makes you comprehend your own mortality. And just the way I'm talking now, you can see this is the Depeche Mode that I miss. You know, all these emotions and everything, so much happening in one song that I could go on for hours. I like this song, guys. I like it. And I've been reading some of the comments today, and I've been ignoring the messages and stuff, but as I say, it's usually my inner circle of producers, and I won't mention their names, who are kind of like, oh God, here we go again. And I'm rating it purely on emotion, and that's how you should listen to music. I will go back now and, you know, put my producer's head on and go, okay, now listen to the sounds and stuff. But, you know, for what they've done, they've gone for a very minimalistic sound. Sonically, all the sort of there are a lot of the sort of sonic characteristics that are present in the previous 3 albums. They're obviously going for that now. That's obviously their taste. You know, I did, if you guys watched my video on the my top 10 favorite Depeche Mode songs, and then I did another one on my 10 least favorite Depeche Mode songs. I tried to keep those those poll videos. I tried to keep them very balanced. You know, I'm aware of the fact that I'm criticizing something. I'm also aware of the fact that I'm an artist and I release music as well. So, which is a bit awkward for me, because you'll often find that music journalists don't usually release music. But I'm not a music journalist, and I'm always very vocal about that. Am I losing my train of thought here? Let's not go off topic. This is live. I'm losing my train of thought here now. So what was I saying? Anyway, I'll just come back to it now. I like the song. I like the song. I'm going to give you my rating in a moment. It's emotional. It's bittersweet. It's sad. It's melancholic. It's got this upbeat kind of feel to it, but at the same time, it's kind of downbeat. But it's not like downright depressing. If you saw my video, where I reacted to it initially, I spoke about the chords and the bass line, especially being very, very familiar, and that's what gives the song sort of like a familiarity to it. We've heard this before. And that's the Pet Shop Boys. Someone, how's it go? Someone tell me Monday, someone tell me Saturday. Wait until tomorrow and there's still no way. Read it in a book or write it in a letter. Wake up and... Yeah, and it's the same as Bizarre Love Triangle. We're getting that. I mean, there are so many, pop songs that, use that progression. But what's beautiful about this one is this... You've got this really sort of... It's not a somber message. It's a message of, hey man, thoughtless thoughts, my friend, we'll be ghosts again. It's very beautiful. But then you've also got this melody in the background, which is almost like an erasure kind of upbeat kind of melody. And that is almost something that Vince Clarke would write. But then, of course, the guitar part over that is quite... It's quite melancholic. So I've always said that, the best songs have contrasts in them. There are a lot of contrasts in here. If you listen to it on its upon first listen, it sounds kind of upbeat, but then it also sounds melancholic and moody. There's a lot going on here. But when you listen to the song sort of like production-wise... you can actually point to the parts. You hear that. And you get the keyboard line. And then you've got like this funny little pad sound which kind of moves up. It's kind of moves back and forth. And there's like this brittle kind of sequence sound as well. And that's it really. You can point to the sounds in there. I don't want to turn this into a geek talk thing. But this song will not blow you away as a kind of like a production masterpiece. But what I said in my previous video, in my initial reaction video, was, please guys, you've done your time. Just give us a honest, sincere album. You don't need to do Walking in My Shoes again, and it's just, you've done that. Story told. You don't need to do that. But just come back with something sincere and I don't want to say heartwarming. And I could go on all night, but I just want to say I like this song. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I think it's sincere. Yes, it's minimalist. Yes, there's a little bit of that saturation on Dave's voice that they've done, but it's kind of dialed back. It's not. There's nothing sort of like overproduced here. And this is what I said. Classic Depeche Mode was always that fine line between great songs and innovation. And then that's a fine line to walk, because you've got the great songs and you've got the innovations. But when you one of my mentors always taught me this. When you release a song, the song is God. All the elements, like the musicians in the band, the sounds, those elements that are there to serve the song, because the song is God. When ego comes into it, that's when the song falls flat. And I pointed to some examples. Like I'm just going to say, I think the one song which they did, which I really don't ever understand, is that "My little universe is expanding." I just never, ever got it. But that was a typical example of, okay, let's get really innovative and off the wall here. What I like about this song, Ghosts Again, it's kind of like, it's direct. It doesn't need more than that. And the little melody. Doesn't need more than that. That's it. Story told. Story told. Beautifully heartwarming, bittersweet, and somewhat, I don't want to say depressing, because it just this song makes you comprehend your own mortality. And I don't know if any of you saw this part, but there's the scene in the graveyard where Martin Gore is sitting against a tombstone. Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit depressing in that way. But does Martin Gore not just look so much like Brian Griffin, the photographer? You've seen Brian. He's been on the channel a lot of times. Think of Brian Griffin, and now think of Martin Gore. They almost look related. Anyway, it's a bit random, but there was something in there. I thought, my God, Martin, you look like Brian Griffin's younger brother. So that's it, my friend. I don't know if there's I don't know what else, what your thoughts are. We probably will talk about this more in other episodes. And as I say, I like to always, when I review something, I like to just give it a bit of time before I just jump into it. But for the purposes of this, and because we haven't heard a song in such a long time, I just thought I'd like a fresh, honest reaction for you guys to see what my thoughts were. Just straight off the back. Kid Mister says Martin looks like my nan. Okay. Well, I'm going to take some comments here now, guys. I think I've rambled on a bit there, but I think you can summarize from the summary here. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I really liked it, and if this is a sort of like an idea of the direction of the album, then I'll be happy. I'll be happy, and they would have redeemed themselves, because I'm doing my Depeche Mode album review series. Obviously, we're now on Songs of Faith and Devotion. And, I was always conscious of the fact that if Spirit is the last album they ever made, it's going to end the album review series on a low. So there seems hope that they're on the up. I must say, and this is probably some more stuff I can go into on a Geek Talk episode. Sonically, this did sound a bit different to the sort of teaser we heard a few months ago, and of course that's understandable. Even the vocals sounded a bit different. This sounded a little bit more, I guess this sounded a little bit more polished. Obviously, because this is the final mix. But all in all, like the song, and I'd love you to leave your comments and see what you think. Murray Nathan, hello. He says it's a good start. Andrea says, still miss the industrial sound. Well, yeah, I mean, the sound definitely has, softened over the years. But, as I say, this probably I think a lot of people think this is The Writings on the Wall. This is probably the last album. And just give us something sincere, guys. You don't have to prove anything. KM says, I'm quite afraid that Christian Eigner will ruin it when performing it live. Well, here's the thing. I mean, the way this is a very drum machine driven track, like a lot of their songs, and this particular song, it sounds to me like a TR-606. I don't know. It's you know what I feel about that live drumming. It doesn't work on every song. It could be, it works on some songs, but I still think the drum kit they're using is completely wrong. It's just don't get me started. So far as the performances are concerned, we're looking forward to the live performances. Yeah, I can see there's someone saying, waiting for Alan Wilder to remix the song. Well, listen, that's really what I've said. Really, what I wanted to say on the song, and that's not to say we won't speak about it again in another video. I'm certainly looking forward to the next single. They usually drop 3 singles before they drop an album. But just want to run through a few things. I've recently interviewed Steve Lyon. Steve Lyon is he was the engineer on Violator and on Songs of Faith and Devotion, and I can promise you there's some gold in that interview. There is stuff in there that no one's ever heard before. And I'm very proud of that. When I go to an interview, I always go there and I like to ask the questions from the perspective of a fan, but I also think like an engineer or like a producer. I don't want to sound up my arse here, but I know a little bit about music production, so I like to ask questions like that instead of just blind fanboy questions. And the Steve Lyon interview was very, very interesting. You guys are going to absolutely love that. Also, shock, surprise, I interviewed Daniel Miller yesterday with Gareth Jones. That 1-hour interview will appear on the Vaughan George YouTube channel on Sunday at 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm not sure. There was an interview with Daniel Miller, so that was a huge moment for the channel. Of course, I had to come in gently because it's a Geek Talk interview, so it's not specifically about Depeche Mode. I managed to get some Depeche Mode questions in there, and Daniel was very graceful, and he just answered anything. But it really was more about modular synths and things like that. So anyway, check out that interview. It's coming out on Sunday, and I think you guys will really enjoy it because, hey man, it's Gareth Jones and Daniel Miller who gave us some of the best Depeche Mode albums. Also, just I think I just should just make a few words here. Some people have been sort of inquiring and questioning and querying, is the Depeche Mode album review series going to continue on YouTube? And the answer to that is, guys, no, it's not. I've started a streaming site which is called watchvg.com, and that was a necessary move because, let's face it, this year will be the 5th year of the Vaughan George YouTube channel, and the amount of work that goes into the channel and these videos, it's unsustainable. So I got to a point where to make a decision, because the decision was we either, not shut the channel. I was going to, stop. I was going to stop all this that we're doing on the channel and just turn this into an education platform, because the amount of work that goes into a lot of my videos is unsustainable. And then, for a video to go up on YouTube, and I love my niche, and I don't want to sell out, so I don't want to, I'm not going for the huge viewerships. I'm not going for this, the clickbait and all that crap. So I need to be authentic to what it is that I want to do, and I want to talk about the things I want to talk about. But the reality is, it just doesn't justify it. I cannot sustain this channel with that much time going into a video, and then the video gets, it might get 20,000 views, but then yeah, that gives you £20 of monetization. And unfortunately, this is the world we live in. The world is based on money, and so it just didn't make sense. So we came to the crossroad, and was that, okay, in order for me to continue down this road, I'm going to have to put a lot of my premium content onto watchvg.com. Now, that does not mean the YouTube channel is going to close, not at all. They're going to work with each other. The opening tiers to watchvg.com are perfectly reasonable. I've set it in such a way that I feel it's reasonable, it's fair, but it's also fair towards me and my output. So I'm just saying this to clarify this rumors. The WatchVG platform is not there to force you to join. It's kind of like if you get on a plane, you can fly economy or you can fly first class. You know, you're still going to get there. That's probably a bad analogy, but I'm not doing it there to force anyone to do anything. There's been a bit of backlash from some people, but I think most people understand where I'm coming from. It's like, hey man, if you want to watch Netflix, you've got to pay your Netflix. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've done my time, and I have to do this now. Otherwise, I cannot afford to just do it for free anymore. So that is why I've started the watchvg.com site. The people that are on there have enjoyed it so far. We're getting some good feedback. You can join up for a few days if you want to. There's a 3-day free trial, and there's no obligation. Just check it out. If you don't like it, no pressure. Also, I don't know why I feel awkward when I talk about my own music, because I am an artist as well. But these arrived finally. Very, very proud of them. I do the smell test. It's my Dark Society album, which was released last year, but it took almost a year for the vinyl to get pressed. We've got stock of those now. They're available at the Vaughan George web store, and just letting you know that they are available. We also just recently released, at the end of January, we released a 5-track EP entitled 1984, which is a follow-up body of work to this, and that'll be available on CD as well soon. Because I'm old school and a lot of my fans have got great taste, they like to have music on CD. It's just something about music on CD and and vinyl that's just, maybe it's nostalgia, but I don't think it is. I think there's just definitely CD and vinyl, just there's a sonic advantage, and I don't know what it is. I just think it's the way we connect with the music, which makes it a lot more exciting. Okay, well that's it, my friends. I'm going to try and keep this live stream shorter than I think I'm not big on live streaming. I tend to usually just pop up, and some of my live streams have gone on for 4 hours because it's quite easy to sit here and talk. But let me just take a few questions before we go. Peter says, what will be the last word of the last Depeche Mode song? I don't know. Also, I had the if you guys saw that video I put up yesterday of the Dave and Martin sitting at the table with the skull on the table. And it's like, you put up a video like that, and you that's what you're thinking of the time, and then the next day you look at it and you go, oh, should I have put that video up? And I think, oh yeah, put it up. That's what you were thinking. And a lot of people were sort of educating me, and I understand the Memento Mori. I understand that the artwork and what Anton's leaning this on, and I get all that. It was just, I just felt that maybe the timing was wrong. I don't know, but it's I'm really pleased after what I saw today with that song. They really redeemed themselves in my mind, and I'm probably gonna. Hey man, this is the thing. You always piss someone off, but I think, as you all know, I'm honest. I say what I think. And I say what I feel, and I have enough self-awareness to sometimes admit when I'm wrong. But yeah, there are some of my producer insiders who are just going to be like, Vaughan, I can't believe you said that. This is just this album is so, the song is so below par. It's just not up to standard. I'm not rating it on that. Not that it sounds bad. I like it. I like the song. I was like, I like it. I really like it. 8 out of 10 is not bad. I'm sorry if you're leaving a message here and it blocks it. So there's some kind of filter on here. It's blocking things that are not even swear words. So I've got a good community. No need to block anything here. This question is, do you are performing somewhere? Do you mean, am I performing somewhere? We are going to put a band together for Vorti eventually. That's the plan. And a lot of you are asking me to release a Depeche Mode piano. You know, I do all these Depeche Mode improvisations. People have asked me to release those album like that, and I may just do that. But just quickly, just randomly, the Ghosts again. I don't know. Did Martin write it, or is it a Dave song? Because, you know, there are no gorisms, and it sounds kind of conventional. But it's a beautiful... I think it's a beautiful song. Something in the song that reminds me of another song, and I'll show you. Once again. There is something in it that reminds me of... Is something there? And straight to... Now that I'm doing that, I'm going, this is a Martin song, definitely. I just answered myself there, but I could be wrong. Newman, hello, Newman is here. Newman says Dave's songs are dire. Yeah, I don't think Dave's, I mean, Martin, the problem is when you, it's not a competition, but, you know, if you've got a songwriter like Martin Gore in the band, and you're going to present your songs, like you're essentially trying to, you must understand that every time Dave presents a song, that's one less Martin Gore song that goes on to an album. In fact, I believe, I haven't read much into this, but I have heard from credible sources that there was quite a bit of friction or tension during the making of Spirit, because I believe Dave fancies himself as a songwriter now, and I don't mean that rude, he writes songs, and I think he wanted more songs on Spirit than what Martin was comfortable with. And I believe it was Fletch, God rest his soul. I believe it was Fletch that was kind of like the mediator when, okay, well, and let's just, I don't know if I've said this on a previous video, I just want to just say something about Fletch. I realized, with this video today and everything, it was quite sad just seeing the two of them, because, there is this kind of feeling of, not impending doom, but the whole idea with this song, certainly the message I got from the song is it's like it makes you comprehend your own mortality. Because, you see them, they've gotten older, and so it really does. I think whatever they try to project on this song, they got perfectly. It's very different to when they did Where's the Revolution. That song had no impact to me at all, because as I said, Where's the Revolution, they do not have the types of voices that can progress that kind of aggression. I mentioned Where's the Revolution, to me, needed a kind of voice like Chester Bennington, God rest his soul, from Linkin Park. Where's the revolution? You needed something like that. And going, where's the revolution? Come on, people, you're letting me down. Dave and Martin, love them both, but they do not have enough aggression in their voice to make songs like Where's the Revolution convincing. However, this latest one, this is them absolutely in their lane, and I love it. Martin is a genius songwriter. Yes, says yes. Okay, thank you. There's validation. Yeah, someone says Martin wrote it. Thank you. Stefan says, I cried when I heard it. And there were a lot of people who cried when they heard it. And as I said, this is the first time I really felt something in this. It really has that that emotion. Like if you think of... It's got that kind of emotion, or oh, it's got that emotion. Having said that, you know, it's not as deep as something like. It's not as deep, but it has an eyes wide open feel to it, like a. It definitely has a feel to it. Dave Martin, I'm proud of you, man. And I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm really, really relieved, because when I heard they bring another album out, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna like it. And you know, I don't want the band that inspired my life in such a positive way. I don't want them to fade out, going, oh, okay, stop now. You know, I don't want it to be. But so far, so good. I really like what I heard. Let's take a few more questions, guys. Then I'm gonna. How long will we be going for now? So I wanted to do about an hour. Okay, we've got a few more minutes left. Little 15. Yep. It's the track that has moved me since Exciter. Yes, I agree. Any thoughts on what Alan might have added to the new song? That's interesting, actually. I have my suspicions. Who am I to think I would know what Alan would do? God. But I think it would sound very different. You liked Martin's album. Yeah, I liked Counterfeit. I like the Martin Gore Counterfeit albums. He does that, like the techno stuff, like the Third Chimpanzee. Yeah, no, which it's fine, but I mean, there's a lot of people doing stuff like that, so it doesn't really stand out. And I've always said that if Martin releases an album and he's not singing, he's doing himself an injustice, because you know he's got such a beautiful voice. Newman's saying, Vaughan, do another hour. Oh dear, I don't know if everyone feels the same, but I don't do many live streams, guys. I know a lot of people have asked for live streams, and I may actually one day. We might look at doing some kind of live performance, because I've been getting into. I sometimes like to take things and turn them upside down. For instance, I'll just show you something that I'm not working on. This just comes kind of like an inspiration to me. If we take Pipeline, in fact, yeah, Pipeline as you've never heard it before, something like this. Thing is with Pipeline is a very unmusical song. There's no sort of cordial information, or it's all made up of sort of ambient sounds. So I thought, why don't we interpret it on a piano differently? So, and I've come up with like. Get out the crane, construction time again. What is it this time? We're laying a pipeline. Let the beads of sweat flow till the ends of metal must reach sometime. Working on the pipeline, taken from the greedy, giving to the needy. Taken from the greedy, giving to the needy. On this golden day, work's been sent our way that could last a lifetime. Working on the pipeline from the heart of our land to the mount of the mad must reach sometime. Working on the pipeline, taken from the greedy, giving to the needy. Taken from the greedy, giving to the needy. Taken from the greedy, giving to the needy. So it's just something, I love taking things like that and just, flipping them on their head and just, doing something like that. Sorry about that. There's no effect on this mic. It's just very dry and, but anyway, it's honest. So yeah, I may look into releasing something like that later on. But yeah, I've still got the Vorty stuff that I'm doing, and I think it's difficult when you're doing your own stuff, and then people always go, "Oh, we like your stuff, but yeah, do more Depeche Mode, and it's interesting. Shout out to the boys from Forster Mode, who I think are the most outstanding live Depeche Mode tribute act at the moment, and they've all got their own musical projects, and I think. Not the annoying thing, but we spoke about this when I hung out with them on Zoom once, and they also said, they've got their own music they do, but it's like people want to hear them doing Depeche Mode because they do it so well, and it's understandable because this band has really really influenced us in profound ways. So that's it. Where are we going? This is. I know live streams are supposed to be focused. This is a little bit rambly, but I think I've said everything I wanted to say on the Ghosts Again song. Loved it. As I say, if you've just joined in, you can watch this video from the beginning. I gave it 8 out of 10. I found it really emotional. I found it really. I was just like, yeah, boys, yeah. And this is not me virtue signaling. I'm not trying to redeem myself. You guys know I don't hold back on my criticism. Boy, I'm not scared to speak my mind. I absolutely love this song. Carrie says, yeah, Vaughan, I kind of view Ghosts Again as a third part of the trilogy of Enjoy the Silence, Precious, and you're absolutely right, actually. If we take like... And then, as I say, it doesn't... sorry, I'm just having a bit of a brain fog moment there. It does, as I say, it's not as deep as things like Walking in My Shoes and stuff. It's not as deep as that, but it has a different feel to it. It's certainly better than anything we heard on Spirit. Newman says you give it 4 out of 10. You're not an emotional guy. Jennifer says, oh, hello, Jennifer. Great version of Pipeline. Jennifer, flattery will get you everywhere. Thank you. But well, it'd be nice when I've got a, if I actually perform it, with a nice microphone and everything, and just to have a bit of effect on. Hi, Vaughan, do I do funerals? I've done piano bars, yeah. Don't do funerals, but I have actually done music for funerals. Actually, now that you say it, A friend of mine's brother passed away, was killed in the army, and he asked me to do a rendition of Adagio for strings from Apocalypse Now, and I did that. They wanted me to play it live, but I was too nervous. I was too nervous to do it live, so you can imagine. So I just produced it and gave them, they played the CD at ease. Eric says 0 out of 10. Well, I mean, this is the thing. I am seeing people. Some people don't like this Ghost Again, and I think if you've been following me from the beginning, you know me well enough to know that I'm going to give my honest opinion. I'm not going to dress things up. I'm going to be brutally honest, and I like it. There's an interesting one. Neelan says it is filled with different riffs, too many of them. It kills the depth of the song. I can see where you're coming from. Because you've got the... And then you've got the guitar melody, which is kind of subdued. But then again, this is what I like about it. There are these contrasts in the song. There we go. Floodland99 says 9 out of 10. It sounds like Thomas says it sounds like a lullaby requiem. It does. It's kind of like a dark lullaby. You're absolutely right. Martin looks like a monk on Walking in My Shoes. Yes. And there is a sort of like a nod in this to sort of like earlier stuff, sort of like, in the imagery as well, sort of like a nod to that sort of devotional time. Anton Corbijn is a genius. Yes, he is. When is the Steve Lyon interview coming out? That will probably be next week. We did a lot of footage, so as I say, a lot of the premium content now, guys, is only going to be available on watchvg.com. But the Steve Lyon interview, a fair amount of that will be on the YouTube channel. I'm not trying to, keep the best stuff away from you guys. It's just this is a necessary move for me to sustain what I'm doing. A lot of creators are doing that now these days because YouTube's just giving creators a really bad deal. If you think of YouTube, it gets everything for free. There's so many, there's some good creators and bad creators on YouTube, but there's some great content on there that people just put up there, and it's anyway. We do what I have got to do what I have to do. Could this be Depeche Mode's final album? I think so. This could be like the swan song. It really... Mohammed says Martin Gore looks like Keith Richards. Excellent single from GW3 says can't wait till the album is out. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. We've gone for an hour now. Leave your comments if you're watching this. If you're not watching this live, if you're watching this over the next few days, you can leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. As again, if you've just joined, I liked it. I liked it instantly the moment I heard the preview at the press conference. I'm very happy. I'm relieved. I'm relieved because I don't want to hate it. But then again, having said that, we've got that. There's a whole album's going to come out with 10 tracks, so I'm gunning for them. And so far, I liked it. It's certainly better than anything I've heard them do in the last 15 years, or at least it's resonate. No, that's not the right thing. Let me articulate that better. It resonates better with me than anything has resonated in the last 15 years. And I think that is... I have to understand that they have done some stuff that other people like. But this has resonated with me personally more than anything they've done the last 15 years. So, yeah. Spencer says they look old. Spencer, brother, we're all getting older. Carla Groom says, quick wave. Hello, Carla. Nice for you to join us. The busiest girl I know. Where's the B-side? Brilliant, Vaughan. You should do more. Bless you, Lee. Thank you. I think... interesting. I think a shout out to my mate Tom J. Carpenter. Tom, if you're on here, he's the guy who builds those ridiculously massive Colossus synthesizers. He actually said an interesting thing. He said to me, it's got like a B-side kind of sound to it, and he's absolutely right there, because Depeche Mode did some great B-sides, which we often would listen to a B-side and go, why is this B-side not on the album? Because some of the B-sides are really, really good. So yes, this does have kind of like a B-side to it. Frank says, didn't I announce doing this till 10 o'clock? You know, guys, I just feel the love. I don't want to sound like a hippie now, or I don't want to sound like a beauty queen, like, I feel the love and we should all come together. I'm not that kind of guy, you know that, but I just love this community, and I should probably hang out with you guys more, because I don't do it much. That's it from me, my friends. Leave your comments. Let me know what's happening. Evil Genius says I should replace Gordino. Actually, Evil Genius, I keep getting distracted here. I've actually got a video coming up which explains the difference between Alan Wilder's version of Somebody as opposed to Peter Gordino's. He's like this. Yeah, Peter Gordino, whereas Alan, someone once said, whereas Alan Wilder's more Kraftwerk, Peter Gordino's more Liza Minnelli. And I don't want to go on a tangent here, but that video's going to come out, and I've had to edit some of the stuff out, because it's just I go a bit crazy sometimes. But just sort of while I'm talking about that, yeah, if you think of the way Alan plays Somebody, Alan's an amazing pianist, but Alan is the kind of musician. Alan Wilder fanboy alert. He's the kind of musician, his musicality's up there, but he will perform down here. Now, I'm not saying he performs badly, but he doesn't overplay things. For instance, when he does Somebody, it's... See, it's like he punctuates it. Done. Whereas Gordino, it's like... He kind of, it almost sounds like, I don't know, Jesus is in the house. You know, when they, these televangelists in America, and they go, praise the Lord. They've got that music in the background. Oh, I feel the enthusiasm. God is in the house. You know, and then they have that kind. Sometimes Gordino reminds me of a sort of like a evangelist Christian pianist. It just goes there sometimes. So anyway, watch out for that video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of love, my friends. I will see you soon, either here or on watchvg.com. Love you loads. Adios.